celebration. Before we get into it, because I know that you want to talk about the free concert because there's a lot of concerns about that, just kind of break down the various events
Mhm.
that are happening during summer celebration. Some are returning, some are
Mhm.
not due to, how to best execute and to keep everyone safe
Mhm.
during the pandemic, and to just make sure that we're all safe and that we all can still have a great time. So if you kind of like run down everything that's happening for summer celebration to get everybody acquainted.
Absolutely. And if you, before I kind of run down that with those events, if you kind of look at our calendar, you will see a lot of the indoor events are not going to occur, particularly if it attracted mass gatherings. Also, because of some of the rules and regulations. So, even as it relates to our exhibition hall, it doesn't make sense with a lot of the attendance restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
particularly for those retail vendors that we normally have with us. We don't want to set them up for failure just because they would not have the opportunity to have the same amount of attendance that they're used to inside. And so um, we really kind of looked at, a lot of the mass gatherings, really making sure if they can't be done safely outside, um, that we were not going to do any inside. And so I'll just walk kind of through the calendar. Very, very excited. We will kick off on July 10th with our gala. And so excited to partner with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It will be outside. We think it's going to be a very, very nice event featuring After Seven. I'm going to try to have fireworks, everything. We're going to do it up
Nice.
because it's 50 years and we're going to celebrate there. And then the next weekend on that Friday, we'll go into our concert. And again, we know about the location change, and I know we'll kind of come back to that just so
Mm-hmm.
we can spend some time kind of talking about the rationale as to why it was moved. But we'll get into that, featuring Keith Sweat, Stephanie Mills, Johnny Gill, and El DeBarge. So very, very excited about that. That is the lineup that we already had last year, and everybody knows that got canceled. So we were blessed to have the opportunity for them to stay with us and come back the next year. That Saturday on July 17th, we'll go into our infamous all white affair at the pavilion. And, that's always a fun event. This year featuring Drew Hill and Raheem Devon. And so very, very excited about that. And so, a lot of our ecumenical service, we will still move forward with that. Our conferences, including our business conference, our education conference, those will be virtual. Part of our business conference, we will have our signature events like the mayor's breakfast, which this year will be a mayor's brunch, and that will be invitation only just because it is indoors, as well as the governor's reception. And so the Indiana Black and Minority Health Fair, and that is a big one, is still on right now with everything we've gone through over the last year with this pandemic and how African Americans have been disproportionately impacted by that, with the illness, death, and losing loved ones. That's something that we definitely want to concentrate our time on and really uplift our health and the importance of health. And so that will take place inside the Indiana Convention Center over all 3 days of that weekend. And so we're looking forward to partnering with the Indiana State Department of Health on that event. And so we will culminate the event with our gospel event. And so hopefully we'll be working with Radio One on that. But very, very excited about that opportunity as well.
Excellent. And then even events that you've had throughout summer celebration are going to be rescheduled throughout the year. So it's not like they're totally going away. It's just, at the end of the day, we have a whole calendar year that we can actually celebrate 50 years, correct?
Absolutely. And not only that, I mean, our Youth Leadership Summit, which is always a big event, we're going to do two of them this year.
Okay.
One will take place in Indianapolis, and another one will take place in Elkhart because it is a statewide event. And it's just convenient for those families to travel within that region rather than having to travel all the way to Indy or the folks having to travel all the way to Elkhart. Our employment opportunity fairs, a lot of the stuff that we did last year where we had an opportunity to really extend our year-round programming, we'll continue to do that. And so last year our employment opportunity fairs, we moved forward with those. They will be in our building. So it gives us an opportunity to showcase the 45,000 square feet building that we have, and we moved into our new headquarters on the east side of Indianapolis and really have not had an opportunity to launch or showcase that for the community. So excited about that.
Yeah. Well, you showed us gave us a tour the other day,
Hmm.
and I tell you guys, it is state of the art. It is beautiful. I love the Performance Academy and what the kids are doing there, and just tapping into a skill set and their talents and treasures to where they can
Hmm.
take them and just blossom from there, and just know that they were groomed right here in Indianapolis at Indiana Black Expo and your headquarters there. So I think that's really fabulous. So let's get to the free concert. The free
Hmm.
concert, to many, it is the big event.
Hmm.
People come home to Indianapolis for it. There are family reunions that happen at the free
Hmm.
concert. They start posting up. I come to work some days and there are already cars and
Hmm.
people walking down, setting up for the free concert, taking the bus down or having a hotel room
Hmm.
downtown, and just knowing that I don't have to drive, I can park my car
Right.
and I'm posted for the weekend,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
And we get the rundown of what's going on with summer celebration. Excited it's coming back, and see that the free concert has been moved
Hmm.
to, on the outskirts of Indianapolis, closer to Brownsburg, and there's some concern there.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
overall, why was it moved?
So, I mean, that was a really, really well, it wasn't a hard decision as to whether or not to move it because there's no way that we can adequately manage anywhere between 30,000 plus people to 100,000 people, depending on the weather, right? And so the way American Legion Mall is set up, there's no permanent seating, and then to just try to manage that from a safety and health standpoint for the community, we can't do it. And so we really looked and exhausted all opportunity, all other venues. And so we wanted to make sure we even looked at Lucas Oil, um, because we felt like, okay, if we could put this inside Lucas Oil, it's large enough to be able to social distance folks and put them inside. It's not available that weekend.
Hmm.
White River, a lot of these other venues that have come up, they're not large enough. And when you're talking about this size of folks, particularly if we don't know what the rules and regulations are going to be at that time, we don't know if there's going to be a splurge of cases or what happens. And so when we looked at all of our outdoor events, not just the free concert, we looked at the opportunity to provide permanent outdoor seating, and so that was critical. And so IMS, we looked at IMS. Unfortunately, IMS has another event that weekend. I think they're hosting Ferrari that has been on the calendar, and we were grateful enough to be at IMS the weekend before for the gala. And so I want everyone to know we looked at all of these different options. And one of our other partners said, "Hey, what about Lucas Oil Raceway?" I've never been to Lucas Oil Raceway. I've driven past there several times, and I got an opportunity to tour it, and I was blown away because it has 350 acres of land. It has permanent seating where we can manage the crowds from a permanent seating standpoint. It has open green space, tons of it. Right, so there's a lot of things that we can potentially do from an activation space with vendors and those type of things around there, and it has space for our guests and all of that. But it really was, how do we adequately manage a pandemic, manage our event during a pandemic? We do not want to become a super spreader event. And so the board, we sat down, we talked through it. There was conversation about canceling it for another year. Quite frankly, with everything that we've been through over the last year, that community engagement sort of piece to me is important. And so even though it may have been the least ideal location, we wanted to make sure that we still had the opportunity to provide that community development, for an engagement with the community. We felt like it was important. Summer celebration right now, very important. I mean, when we canceled it last year, which was our 50th anniversary for the organization, it was a blow. I think the
Yeah.
morale was down for everybody, but we understood. I mean, health, safety. I mean, we were where we were with a pandemic, and we're still there. But again, not the most ideal, but we felt that this was a better option than cancellation. And so we are looking into, we understand, and we talked through that even when we made the decision that we were going to continue to have it at this location, that transportation may be an issue. We've looked into that. And so there are some transportation options that we're looking at on the table. Of course, we want to make sure that all of the community has access to this
Yeah.
event. And I get change sometimes. It's hard, and it's a different location. But it is, from a functionality standpoint, from a safety standpoint, it's actually a way better
Mhm.
location.
Mhm.